Okay, at this point I believe we can start creating the function, the product form. But before then, there is a loading state that we imported from Redux that we've not used here. So let me show you. So it's loading and it's coming directly from our product slice Redux. So I'll just gotta come down here, and just above this my h1 I'll just have my curly braces, and then I'll say that if is loading is equal to true, then I want to display the loader. So that loader is coming from that component there, and then I'll just close it. So that's all. I think that's the last piece of item we needed on this page. So at this point we can now proceed to the product form. So I'll go to my product form, and in the product form the first thing I'll do is to import all of this, to destructure all of these props so that we can have access to them. So I'll come to the product form, and then I'll start here. So we're going to get the product, then we're getting the, it's quite a number of them. So we're getting the product image, then we're getting the preview. I think that's image preview, image preview. Then also we have the description, then we have the set description, then we have the functions. So the first one is handle impute change, then we have the handle image change. It's quite a lot. Handle image change. Then lastly we have the save product function. So save product. Aha. So this is everything we need. If I save it, it will realign. So this is everything we need to be able to successfully execute or make this form functional. So now what we need to do next is to let me just click on this add products here. Aha. So we're just going to, I'm currently logged, my session has expired, so let me log back in. And I don't even have internet. Okay, let me connect and then log back in. So I'm logged in, and in the product add product page, so these are products from, this is what we're going to be using to work. I'll come to my npmjs.com, and there's a package I want us to install that will help us create a rich text editor. The name of that package is React Quill. So that's the package, and I think it's even this one. So just click on that, and I just wanted you to see where we're getting the package from. Then we're going to install it. Alright, so we're here. Let me expand this guy. So this is the command to install it, npm install react quill. So just go ahead and copy that and just install it into your application. So I think I'll use the last one here in the front end. I'll just paste that in, and then I'll hit enter. Okay, then also there are some things we need to pay attention to in our documentation. So I will come to so you see you need to import React Quill, and then you need to import the CSS file for that, and then this is how we can use it. So it's actually a very straightforward plugin to use, and I mean it helps us achieve that in a breeze. So you just need to copy these two lines here, and I'll have that here as well. And of course I need to make sure that the React Quill has finished installing before I have that, or before I save the file, so it doesn't throw an error. So for now, just paste it in, and let's just wait for it to finish installing. Then we also need to make sure that we have our CSS file imported. So here I'll just come here and say import // and product form.scss. Great. Now let's come down and start working on the form itself. So you see this div here, I'll give it a class name. So let's do class name. Okay, you know what, I think, okay, yeah, class name of, now this is going to say add -product, and then I'm just going to bring this down and get rid of this product form. Okay, now what we want inside this class name is a card. If you look at the finished product here, let's just work with the finished product. You see that we have this card like effect around the form. So I'm just going to create my card and then tap that, and then let's import the card as well. So I'll import that, and yeah, so that's it. Now this card, we're going to give it a class. So here we're just going to say card class, and that's going to be equal to card. Great. Okay, all right, so that's fine. Now inside the card is where we'll now have our form. Form doesn't have an action, but it's going to have an on submit. So here I'll say on submit. On submit. Aha, now the on submit, when we submit the form, what do we want? Well, we want to save the product. So here I'll just point to save product, save product. So you see why I wanted us to have all of these props here before we create the form. So it's going to be easy for us to just create the thing from top to bottom instead of creating the form first, then having to come back to slotting all these props. So now we've done that, let's open this up. Now inside of the form, you will notice that this image area here, we have like another card surrounding it. Okay, so that's a card within a card. We're going to implement that here. So here I'll just come and say card. I'll bring the card, but this time this card is going to have a different card class. You know, the card class is like the special class that's attached to a card. This one is going to have a class of group, because I just want to group a couple of HTML elements. So let's start. I think at this point I should just shrink this guy up so that I can see the form very well while I code. Okay, then I'll shrink this guy up as well. That's my code editor. So I think it's fine like this. Good. Now, so we have this label here. So label, and that label is just going to say, I don't need this one. It's just going to say product image. So product image, and then below that we're just going to have this tiny text, supported format, blah blah blah. So let me just copy the text here, and then it's going to be inside a code HTML element. So that's it. Now this code, I'm going to give it a class name. So class name of, okay, so dash dash color hyphen dark. All right, so now let's come below the code, and that's where we'll now add our input. So I'll say input, tap that, and it's going to be a type of file because we want to upload a file. Then any other thing, choose file. Okay, that's about it. Then I'm going to give it a name. That name is going to be image. Aha, so now let's give it an on change. And what do we, which function do we create to handle the image change? So that's this one here, handle image change. And that's what I'm going to point to here, handle image change. So we're just going to, actually we're not supposed to call it directly, we're supposed to put a, what's it called, an arrow function here like so, and then we'll just call it, so handle image change, and then we'll just pass it the e parameter. Okay, so that's about it for our first element here, but we also want to be able to preview the image. You know what, let me save this thing so that we can follow it step by step. So I'll just come here to this one we're currently building. Oh, I need to even log in here again. So I'll log in. Or maybe I should just finish building the form. So let's just finish building out the form. So the next piece of information we have here is the ability to preview an image. So you know what I'm going to do? So here we're just going to have our curly braces, and we're going to say that if image preview is not equal to null, right? Then, so let's use a ternary operator and then I'm just going to open my parenthesis. I'll have the else part, and then I'll just open another parenthesis. So if you notice here, when we've not added any image, it says no image set for this product. That's what the else block is actually going to handle. So in this else block, just go ahead and add a paragraph tag that will say exactly what it says here. No image set for this product, and it's showing this red curly red lines because we've not added the if part. So for the if part, I'm just going to add an image. So let me just bring this down, and I'll just have a div with a class name of image preview, image hyphen preview, and tap that, and then inside of that div I'll just have an image tag. So img. Now this image tag is going to have a source, and that source is going to be our image preview, image preview prop, image, yeah. The alt text will just say product image, oh okay, so let's just say image, and it cannot be image as well, so product. Okay, now you see here that everything has, all the red lines has disappeared. So this is how you add your image preview to the page. Now at least we've done something reasonable, so I'll go ahead and save, and then let's go back to view the changes we've made so far. So I'll come to the project we are working on, and then I'll click on add products. So here you see here that immediately we have the image form or the image input, and then we have this text, no image set. So that's because we have actually not set any image. So now let's test this image preview to just find out if our handle image change is working correctly. So I'll click on choose file, and let's just choose any file here. I'll just choose this one. This one seems okay. Select. Aha, so you see our image preview, our handle image change is actually working, and it's previewing our image as well. Great. So now we can head back to let me just switch. Okay, so now let's head back to the finished product, and let's see what we have next. So next we have the product name. All right, so I'm just going to come here, scroll down, and after the card that groups this image with the preview functionality, I'm going to add a label, and that label is going to say product name. So what we have next is an input. So input is a type of text. It's going to have a placeholder, and the placeholder will just say product name. Then it's going to have a name property, and that name for this one is going to be name because it's holding the product name. It's also going to have a value, which is going to be, now we're going to now reference this product, because this product, let's go back to the add product. It has initial state, so this is it right here at the top. Aha, so you see it has this initial state that has these 4 properties: name, category, quantity, and price. So I gotta come here, and we're now going to say product dot name. All right, now but I would like us to use a concept here known as optional chaining. That's because we are also going to use this form to handle editing the products. And for us to edit the products, we're going to first fetch the products from the database. So if for any reason we fetch a product from the database and maybe it doesn't have the name property, if you just do it like this, it will throw an error. But if you use optional chaining, it will first check this data sets that I'm fetching from the database. Does it have a name property? If it doesn't have a name property, no problem, it will not display the name. Unlike when you just say product.name, then it has to now search for this product.name, and if it doesn't find it, it's going to throw an error that the product.name is undefined. Okay, So optional chaining, you just add a question mark in front of it. All right, so that's about it. Then lastly, I'm going to have my onChange prop. So I'll say onChange, and I'm going to set that to, I'm sure you can guess, it's going to be the handle input change. Yeah, so this is about it for the product. So now for the product, the next thing we have is the product category. So for the product category, I can just duplicate this one because it's very similar. So here we're just going to say change this to category. Then the placeholder is also going to change. Oh, I should have just done it together. Anyway, let me just grab this text. I'll copy that, and then I'll just change this one as well. Then the name is also going to change to category, just that it's going to have a small letter C. Then products.category as well, it's also going to have a small letter C. Then handle input change is going to be the same. What do we have next? I think I want to space this out so that it's not crowded. So maybe I should have put it inside a span to separate it, but it's okay. So I'll space this out here. So the next thing we have is the product price. So let's duplicate this one down, and then we're just going to change those things. So I'll do it, this one I'll do it in one swipe. Category and category, and then also here category. So I'll just say price, except that I'll just need to change these ones to small letters. So this one and this one, I'll just change it to small letter P. That's all. Then the next thing we have is the product quantity. So very important. Let's duplicate the price area. So I'll just duplicate this one, and then I'll just change it just like I did before. So this is going to say quantity 1 and 2 and then 3 and lastly 4. So here I'll just say quantity, and let's change the last, this one, the name and the value, to small letter Q. When I say small letter, I mean lowercase. Just forgive my way of doing things here. All right, so the last thing we have here is the product description. Now for the product description, we're going to use React Quill because that's what is going to help us implement it's going to help us implement what's it called, the rich text editor. So but first I'll just grab this label because it's also going to have a normal label. I'll come down here, come and help me, and then I'll just say product description. Okay, so for the React Quill, there are some properties the React Quill needs to have. It needs to have a theme, a value, an onChange, module, and format. So let me see if I can just pick it out in the documentation and show you. So a very important skill is being able to read documentation. So this is what you return when you like use React Quill. So you know what, I can just copy this guy, but if you read further down you will see the other properties that this thing needs. So let me copy this React Quill here, and then I'll just come back to my code editor and paste it in. So you see here that it has a theme, which is snow. We'll leave that as it is. The value, however, is going to change to our description state. Then the onChange, instead of set value, this will change to set description. So then lastly, I said there are two things we need to have, and that is the modules and then the format. The modules and format, technically they just help us structure what is displayed here on the rich text editor. So if you play with the documentation of React Quill somewhere, I don't want to waste time on that, by the way, but so I'm sure there's somewhere where they wrote something about that. It may be here on npm or on their own website. You will see the documentation on the, what's it called, modules and format. But for me, since I'm already going to give you access to the finished product, I'll just paste the module and the formats that I need, and then I'll just explain what they do. So let me just grab it from the finished product like so, and then I'll just slot it at the bottom, so it's going to be outside. Just come here before our export, we're just going to paste that in. Now if you look at it, you see here that it just defines the way this rich text editor is set up. So you see header font, the colors, the lists. So you see we have ordered list, bullet list, and then look at it, everything is what you see here. Then lastly, we now have the product, the formats. The format is just all this header, bold. So you see bold, then we have italics next. So you see italics, then we have underline, and you see that. So technically, generally, it's just what you see here, the way we structure what is here. That's what these settings, are handling. It's not something you need to memorize. Just get the finished product and copy it, paste it, and move on. So now we are now going to point to these settings that we've added at the bottom here. I'll come here and then I'll start with the modus. So I'll say modus, and that's going to point to product form dot modus. Aha. Then the next one is going to be the formats plural, and of course it's going to point to the same thing. So product form dot formats. Yeah, so this is it for our React quill. The next thing we have here is this save button. So I'm going to come outside of this React quill, and then I'll just create a div that will have some margin on the top. So margin on the top and bottom. Aha. Then inside this div is where we'll now have our button. So tap that, and of course the button needs to have a class name. So dot dash dash btn. Then I also want it to be button primary. So dot dash dash btn primary. Aha. Tap that, and what's the button going to say? It's going to say save product. Okay, so now this button, I'm going to give it a type of submit. When you give a button a type of submit, if you fill a form and you hit enter, it will still execute the submit functionality. So that's what we're doing here. All right, so now let's go ahead and save, and fingers crossed, let's go and see the form we're currently building. Aha, so you see we've been able to build the form, and so far so good. Everything is displaying just as it should. Now if I click on this save product, I want to be able to execute the function in this add product here, this function here. But what I want to do first is to make sure that I can actually pick out all the inputs in the form. So I'll come here, and indeed I'm going to comment out all of these guys here, the await, dispatch, and create product. I'll comment it out. So I just want to log the form data to the console. So let me save this file, and then I'll expand this guy so that we can test. So here let me open my console, F12. Aha. So I would add an image. So let's grab the image. Let me clear this console. I think maybe when I was working on this there was an error. So clear the console. Aha, so now let's just fill out every item in the form so that we can test. So I'll just grab my electronics image, then scroll down, just add P1, and for the category I'll just say maybe electronics. Then the price, I'll just say maybe $12, quantity maybe 5. Then the description is also going to say this is a good product. Aha, so now let's attempt to save this product, knowing hopefully well that we want to log the product to the console. So I'll click on save product. Aha, so you see we're able to log the items we saved to the console. So here we have the name, the SKU, the category, quantity, price, description, and the image, which is just a file. All right, so we can see very well now that we've been able to save this product to the console. Now in the next one, now let's go ahead and actually save the product to the database. So I'll just come here and comment out this guy and let's test it out. So now I'll save this file, and I hope it doesn't refresh the page because I don't want to have to enter so it doesn't refresh the page. So now let's go ahead and save this to the database. So I'll click on save product. Let me expand this guy. So save product. So our loading. So it says product added successfully. Now let's confirm that this product was actually added to the database. I'm just going to bring up Insomnia for that. And then this is Insomnia. So what I'll do is I'll just get all the products and check if that one is the product we just added is part of it. So so I'm in the get all products. So let's fire it. Oh, I don't think I'm still logged in here. So let me log in first. Login user. And then I change this one to user 123. User 123. So let's just log in first. So I'm logged in again. Now let's get all products. And then I'll send. So now let's scroll down to the bottom and check if the last product we added actually was added. So I will come here and okay. I don't think it was added because the last product we have here is P2. Oh, sorry, it will be the first product. I forgot that we sorted it to display from the descending order. So you see here we now have P1, electronics 5, price is 12, then description is this is a good product, and then this is the image. So let's check the image and make sure that it was actually sent to Cloudinary. So you see we have our Cloudinary link here, and if you open that, it will just show you the image. Then also we have some other data about the image and the timestamp as well. So technically we've been able to create a product and save it to the database, which is good. In the next one now, we'll now see how we can display the product on this our dashboard. That's to read the product. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one then.